Hi, my name is Angie and welcome to my little corner of the internet. In this video, we are going to be having a number generator, a spinner wheel, decide how many pages that I will be reading every single day for an entire week. This is so exciting, but it's definitely going to be a daunting challenge. I'm going to be mostly mood reading, but focusing on my physical TBR, so like my monthly TBR, my ARCs, and I also have some library books that you can see down here that I need to read. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on this week more than likely. Of course, I like to throw a mood reading book in there every once in a while, but I feel like I have plenty to choose from, so I feel like I'm still going to be able to mood read no matter what. But I am super excited. Why this challenge is so daunting is, one, I work 40-hour plus weeks. I pick up tons of overtime, so generally I work closer to 50 to 60 hours a week. And two, the numbers on the spinner wheel go anywhere from 25 pages to 500. That is going to be an insane amount to read in a day, and if I land something like that, I'm going to be up all night because, unbeknownst to most of you, I also have a toddler and I will not be neglecting my toddler during this challenge. I will stay up past their bedtime if I need to, or wake up super early if I need to. But it's okay because I love reading and this is fun for me. I would not be doing this if it was not fun. I do feel like I need to throw that disclaimer out there. I'm not pushing myself. I'm not forcing myself. If I can't complete a challenge one day, that's okay. We'll just tack it on to the next day and so on. If we get the same number twice, we won't be repeating it in this challenge. I'll just spin again. The first book I will be reading in this challenge actually does come from my monthly TBR. I am almost halfway through it already, and that would be An Ember in the Ashes by Sahaba Tahir. So fun fact is I actually read this book when it first came out. I was like in the middle of high school, and back then I don't believe the other three books were released yet. I actually did rate this book a 5-star back then, but it has been so many years. I don't remember. I think it's been like 10 years or so, and I don't remember what happened in this book at all. And so I feel like I'm reading everything again for the first time. I also should say that I rated everything 5 stars in high school because even now I feel like I rate books based on how they make me feel and the vibe. I don't notice plot holes very easily. I don't notice issues very easily. Now if the writing is bad or it just seems weird, obviously I'll notice that. But I'm interested to see if my rating still holds up. Like I said, I'm almost already halfway through. I am on page 210, and I would say that I mean, so far it's holding up. I'm really loving it. I can see this definitely being a 4 to 5 star read already if it continues to go as is. I am super excited for it. So in this book, we follow our main character, Leia, and her brother is arrested for treason in the very beginning of this book. She is going to do anything and everything she can to get her brother back. That means partnering up with the rebels, and she agrees to spy for them. Some of the parts in here are a hard read. What she has to go through for sure, and how she's feeling is terrible. Throughout the book, she meets Elias, which is the school's finest soldier, and he is the most unwilling. He and Leia will soon realize that their destinies are intertwined and that their choices will change the fate of the Empire itself. Now, I am so glad it doesn't go into detail on that because they're just now getting their first meeting and like 200 pages in. Like, they met a little bit earlier, but it was quite brief. I'm glad the synopsis doesn't go into a lot of detail because I am really interested to find this all out myself. And I am so excited that I'll officially get to continue the series if I do still really like it, which obviously I do. I am a huge fantasy romantasy person, so this book is right up my alley. Like I said, I'm already on page 210. There's 436 pages in this book, which leaves about 226 pages left to read. Hopefully we don't get over that, but if we do, we'll choose the next book. Let's go ahead and get into spinning. I've been talking for far too long. I guess I should have started this video much earlier today. It is currently 7:40 p.m. Like I said, if I don't get it all today, I will definitely tack it on to tomorrow, but I'm going to be pushing the rest of the night to see how far I can get. Oh my gosh. 445 pages. Well, I guess the next question now is, do I choose the next read right now? I can't believe it. This is crazy. I think I know what I'm going to be doing. So I have 2 other books I've already started on my Kindle, and that would be Fairytale and The X Effect, both of which are Nick Ellie arcs that have already been re-released and released. So I think I'm going to continue with one of those, but I'm going to wait to see how I feel after I finish An Ember in the Ashes, and then I'll update you guys. So wish me luck. Update time, and try not to judge me for how I look. I feel like I look awful with this double shirt, with my hair. Whatever this is, it won't stay up because it's so like short here. Like I'll put it back and within like 3.5 seconds it falls down, and then of course like my face is all, oh well, though that's not why we're here. So I have finally completed my pages. It is the next morning. It did take me a little bit long, but oh my gosh, An Ember in the Ashes is so good. I feel like high school aged me, 15, 16-year-old me had taste. She 100% did. Now, I'm not sure what I'm set on the rating. I don't think it's going to be a 5-star this go round, but I do think it might be close. A 4 to 5 maybe. I'm not sure. I want to sleep on the rating and just see just kind of see how I feel tomorrow about it. But it is so stinking good. I highly recommend it. It literally, it eats. I have said this before, but I feel like in a true fantasy romantasy or fantasy with a subplot of romance series, the romance should not develop completely in the first book. And that's exactly what happened here. We were getting crumbs. I literally, oh, it was so good. I can't go into details obviously, but I'm so mad I don't have the second book right now. Like I want to read it so bad, but I really don't need to spend money right now. So I feel like I'm gonna have to hopefully pray it's at my library or on Libby or something like that, because it's so freaking good. If you are even remotely interested in An Ember in the Ashes, pick it up. I mean, yes, it was literally almost 500 pages, but I flew through it so quickly. As for the next book we read, I went ahead and jumped right back into Fairytale by Veronica Lancet. I was already about 18% into this book. Now this book is pretty lengthy. It is 772 pages, and so I made my way to 45% in this book, which puts us at that 209 pages read. And what can I say? It's interesting. It really is. I think for many people this will be like their 5-star, and I think that's why we see so many people just like raving about Fairytale. I'm not sure that's how it's going to be for me. Like I've said before, I'm not a paranormal or horror reader, and when people recommended this book as a melting pot of genres, I didn't realize that's what they meant. I thought it was like, I was under the impression that Fairy Tale was a fantasy thriller. It is a fantasy paranormal horror. So 2 out of 3 elements that I don't typically read. With that being said though, it is really good at keeping my attention. I feel like I can't look away from it. I think some aspects are so good, and then other aspects I'm quite confused about. So like one thing is I feel like it's super insta-lovey between the character and the other love interest. I'll just say it that way because I don't want to spoil anything, but I don't know if it's supposed to be or not, but it's literally like they say, hey, I love you, and she's like, you know what, that's weird, but I love you too. I don't know why it happens that way. I do feel like we're starting to get more substance at this halfway point, but you've got to think we're already like almost 300 pages into this book, and I feel like we're finally starting to get a clue of what is actually going on, maybe. And then the paranormal ghostly elements are quite entertaining as well. But some parts I just feel myself so lost in, and I don't know if this is because I don't read paranormal and horror, because like there will be flashback scenes, there will be monsters that you can't actually see, weird things are happening, like people exploding. The thing that really throws me off the most is she'll see scenes that happen of horrible, terrible things. And when she confronts somebody about doing these horrible, terrible things, they're like, I didn't do that. And then she's come to the conclusion that maybe these creatures, these ghost things are causing these illusions. But it's like, are they really, or is this really happening? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what's supposed to be real and what's not supposed to be real. I'm having a lot of trouble differentiating that, and I don't know if that is the point or not, but I definitely feel like I'm gonna finish this book because like I said, it really does pique my interest. I do find some parts really fascinating about it, the plot and the storyline and the mystery surrounding it all is really entertaining. But yeah, I mean, it's just a lengthy read, and I can definitely feel the length of it. I don't think it's a fast read at all. I think it's a read you really have to take your time with because it can get super confusing. I've heard a lot of people say that like the first 100, 200 pages that they just stay super confused. And I actually kind of feel the opposite. I felt like I kind of understood what was going on in those first pages. And now that we're getting into like more depth, I feel like I'm losing focus and I'm not able to comprehend what's going on. I know I've said this in the past, I don't think it was in this video, but if you are feeling tired or like you can't use your little thinking brain, I don't recommend going into this one. I feel like this read needs full brain power. With that being said, we're going to keep going through Fairy Tale, and I'm going to spin the page counter to see how many we're going to be reading today. Okay, I got 75. That is not bad at all. I can duel that out so fast, and I'm so glad after the page number that I just had. So yeah, let's go ahead, let's jump into that, and I will update you guys shortly. I'm officially to the 54% mark in Fairy Tale, and I really don't know how to feel about it. So many different things are happening at the same time, and some aspects are very entertaining, and then some aspects are very icky, and I think this is kind of like maybe classified as a dark romance, which I'm not necessarily against, but it's hard to hear that somebody was SA'd and then rewatch their love story. Like, you know the ending before you really know the beginning, if that makes sense. And I'm really wondering how a specific love interest is playing into the story, because I have my suspicions and they're not very good suspicions. And then on top of that, I don't know. She's just like she knows it's bad. She knows something is very bad. She's cried over this being very bad, but then in her heart she's like, I should forgive it. And I'm like, girl, you should run away from it. You should run away. And she's learning more and more about what she's going to have to do to stop a particular situation. And she's not sure if she wants to. And that's fine. But she's also throwing around the idea of doing the polar opposite thing and kind of aiding the enemy, if that makes sense. I'm trying to be so discreet that I'm not giving away spoilers, but I don't know. I'm having a hard time reading this. It just kind of makes me feel gross. And now there's smuttier scenes, which is fine for some people, but I literally had to skip like an entire chapter, and it was long. It was crazy long. That may have been one of the longest smut scenes I have ever went through in a book. I don't know. It just kind of makes me feel gross. I kind of don't want to read it, but at the same time, I feel like I have to know what's going to happen. So I'm going to give myself a little break, but I'm going to continue on later today. And I don't have my iPad, so I'm just going to roll the number on the watch. So I'll just ask the number generator to pick a number between 1 and 500. Pick a number between 1 and 500. Okay. So the watch said 85. I would take it off, but I'm pretty sure it'll turn off when I take it off. But anyway, it said 85. That is not bad. I'm very happy with that number. I will continue on. I feel like this girl is literally the stupidest character I have ever read about in my entire life. Like, I don't know if she's meant to be this way or if she actually is discovering something, but personally for me, I feel like she's being beyond stupid. It's like that person in the movie that walks into the room with the slasher, like, let's go investigate. Like, that's how she is being the whole book. Like, I feel like she's so naive. Like, trying to be vague about this, but they show her a depiction of something absolutely horrid occurring, and she spends like an entire day crying about it. And then she decides that it's the person who showed her the depiction's fault, and that the character that absolutely did something horrid is not to blame at all. Like, she's just like, I forgive you, I know you would never do that, even though she saw the vision of it happening. And I'm like, she is an idiot. Like, she is dumb. Or do they want us to think that and she's actually the correct one? Right now I feel like she is just being naive and dumb, and it's just making me so mad. This begs the question, is $1 million worth your sanity or possibly your life? For my measly life, yes, it's worth it. Good morning. It is Wednesday. I read through those 85 pages within about an hour and a half. I don't know what to say other than, I don't know, I still kind of felt icky. Like, I went from really, really, really enjoying Fairytale to just wanting to go, okay, maybe we need to pump the brakes. Maybe we need to put this down for now. But I don't want to put it down because it is one of the arcs that I'm reading, and I don't want to DNF it not purposefully, if you know what I mean. Because I feel like if I go ahead and put this book down, I'm not going to be picking it up again. And I really do want to know what the outcome of the story is going to be. I'm just hoping it has a happier ending. And I'm kind of wondering, Is this why I don't gravitate towards horror and paranormal? Like, I'm genuinely not enjoying those aspects. I don't think it's a bad read necessarily. Like I said, I really enjoyed about the first 300 pages. And now that we're in like the more solving mysteries parts of the stories and like what's got to take place to fix all the issues, I'm like, oh, I don't like this. And I'm just wondering maybe if I'm like just having a day or if it is the story, because like I said, I was enjoying it and I don't feel like it's changed trajectories that much. So it's probably just me. I just want to pick up another read. That's what I want to do, but I'm not going to do it because I don't want to DNF, and if I put it down, I'm more than likely not going to be picking it back up. And that sounds terrible. I'm really hoping that the story changes pace soon and I really start to like it again. But for now, we're just going to keep pushing through it. I'm going to hopefully... I'm a little bit over halfway, so I feel like this book is taking forever to get through. Let's continue on. I'm rolling my pages for today. So we already previously got 75, so I'm gonna roll again. 260. While I'm not absolutely ecstatic it's a high number, I am happy we are going to be reading a majority of what I have left of Fairy Tale, and that means we're getting closer to picking my next read, which does make me happy. So we are going to be going ahead and doing that, and hopefully everything just kind of resumes to how I was feeling previously, and maybe the ending will be really good. I don't think I'm at the point where the ending is going to be at that 260 page mark, but we'll see. I have a couple updates. First off, I have decided to go with a 4.5 for Ember in the Ashes, which is kind of expected, and High School Me definitely has taste. The second update is that I forgot to film the clip talking about Fairy Tale and how I felt at the end, so I'm just gonna insert that in here. After reviewing all of my footage, I realized I never told you guys what Fairy Tale was about. So if you don't know, Fairy Tale follows a girl named Darcy, and she was an orphan her whole life, and she ended up becoming an English teacher at the place that housed her. So she works with nuns to be an English teacher, and the opening scene is her pretty much finding out that she has a biological dad. She finds out that her biological dad does know of her existence, and he put in his will that if she attends his funeral, she will be guaranteed $1 million inheritance. Now, this just sounds too good to be true. All she has to do is go to this little town called Fairy Tale. So, of course, after consulting with the nuns and her roommate, she says, oh, heck yeah, I'm going. She hops on a train. Some weird things happen along the way, but she gets there. And that's kind of where things start to go south. Weird things start happening. People are dying in weird, odd ways that they don't typically die in the real world. And it's very clear that the family of her deceased father do not like her. It seems to be, though, that one neighbor named Caleb Hale has taken a particular interest in her, but everybody tells her to stay away from him. But she just can't help it. She sees something about him and she slowly starts to like him. And things start to take a turn from the worst at this point. Weird things are happening. It seems like somebody wants her dead, and she is just trying to stick it out in Fairytale to get the inheritance. There is somewhat of two love interests throughout the book, but it's not a love triangle. It says that in the synopsis, and if you make it to the end of the book, you'll find out why. I'm obviously not going to be going into more details about that, but I will say that I struggle with this rating. I struggle with the likability, because in the first 25 to 40%, I was stoked for this book. Everything sounded so good, and it was just so odd. Some things that I had never read before, some things I never seen before. And if you remember in my previous clips, I've never read paranormal stories and I've never read horror. This was kind of right up my alley. I loved it. Maybe it was more of the fantasy elements that I was loving. I'm not sure. Then some of these images and scenes started to come about that were very, very gross to read about. And I just couldn't understand how our main character wanted to forgive and forget these things when she was under the impression that they did in fact happen to her and happen to people around her. So then I really started to have trouble reading it. Then the story started to decline rapidly. In my opinion, it was, one, far too long, and two, I feel like they missed so much key information. For one, she never spoke to her roommate pretty much, other than like one time throughout the book, and nothing of her past life ever came about. Number two, with the imagery and the scenes that occurred, it never actually went into depth, and it was kind of like once something was revealed, she forgot all about it, and the trauma she experienced with these scenes was just gone. Lastly, it felt like the final scene where, you know, everything gets solved was just far too short. It was kind of like she reveals something that she knows now, and everybody is like kind of aghast about it, and then the scene is just kind of over. Like there's no fighting or further problem solving or anything. It was just, to me, what happened was the first scene, she finds out she's gonna get $1 million. The next scene, she realizes there's more to the story. The middle scene, it was like her finding out about the story, like the full story, and then the story is solved. There was no middle part where she is having to find clues or learn about things to solve what's going on. It just wasn't, it felt very surface level as I was reading it, which is crazy considering it's 732 pages long. I think I'm going to rate this book a 2.5, but for my reviews, I'm going to round it up to 3 stars on platforms that only do star ratings like Goodreads and NetGalley. So I'm going to rate it 3 stars on there, but like Margins and Fable, it's going to be a 2.5. And I hate to do that, I do, because I really did enjoy that first part, but the last part it just didn't feel like a completed story. It felt like it dragged on forever. I found myself the last half of it just wanting to put it down the entire time, but I just wanted to know like what would happen, and in all honesty, part of me wishes I would have just Googled it. I feel like I definitely can understand why somebody would really like it, but it wasn't for me. It really wasn't. So unfortunately, that was a fail. And now we'll get into spinning the wheel for the next read. Who wants to guess what time it is? It's time to pick my next read and roll for today's pages. Now it is pretty late and I have already eaten Mexican, and I say that to show you something. I received some surprise mail from Entangled Publishing. They sent me a t-shirt and I am so excited to be wearing it. But this is a preface that I spilt cheese on it. But oh my god, I'm so excited. This is my first book mail that's not book. That's not a book. That's not a giveaway. Like, they just randomly sent it to me and oh my god, I'm so excited and I'm so sorry I already got stains on it. But anyway, let's go ahead and roll for our pages today and see what we get, and then we'll pick our read. $372 pages. That is crazy. Okay, I'm so excited though. This is like pretty much like a whole book. Let me look. So I'm actually not feeling my Kindle. I think I want to go with something physical, maybe a library book before they have to be returned. Let me take a peek. So I was kind of thinking we would read What You Gonna Do, because it just feels like the fall vibes. But I think I actually want to pick a wrapped book, and I know you can't see it, but right here I have a ton of wrapped books. For a fun fact, I actually wrapped these in 2023 for funsies, and I told myself I could only unwrap them if I read them. And I have more than that actually, and so I'm excited to see what I'm going to unwrap today and read. Hopefully it's nothing I purchased again. Because I feel like I did that on accident, and if we have read it, we'll just undo it. So this feels like a paperback. I have absolutely no inclination as to what any of these books are, so okay. So I have here Chateau of Echoes by Siri Mitchell. When I first unwrapped this, my first thought was I should just put it back on the shelf and pretend it wasn't wrapped. Because although this is such a stunning cover, I am not in the mood for historical fiction. And I flipped through it a little bit and I was like, you know, the words aren't that bad. Maybe I'll be in the mood for it. Maybe this is just like type palette cleanser that I need because I've been reading a lot of fantasy. And then that weird horror paranormal book. No, I'm kidding. It's not that bad. Please. But anyway, yes, we're gonna go with this. We're not gonna cheat, even though I want to. Let's read it. Suddenly widowed in a foreign country, Frederique Farmer did what any girl would do. She bought a castle. She never imagined that this mysterious 15th century owner would hold the keys to a second chance at life. When an extensive restoration on Chateau reveals an ancient treasure, Frederique kisses her reclusive life goodbye. She opens a bed and breakfast, hires capricious graduate students, and gets talked into hosting a handsome American for an extended stay. Little does she know, she's unwittingly concocted a recipe for intrigue, romance, and possible disaster. So, this actually sounds really good. I feel bad for judging it though. I love a good romance, and that just seems so good. Actually, maybe I'm actually kind of excited about this now. I'm going to be starting this literally like right now, and we'll see where we get. So Okay, I have officially finished Chateau of Echoes, and so crazily enough, after I finished my 372 pages of Chateau of Echoes, I still had like 40 to 50 pages left, but then there was only actually 10 of the rest of the book. The rest are just like different types of food and desserts that were served, and like some recipes that were mentioned throughout the book. So it actually wasn't anything to read, so I just went ahead and finished it so that we could go ahead and wrap this video up, which is perfect, to be honest. But I did love it. That's 2 in a row that were just kind of fails for me, which sucks because one, I think this cover is like the prettiest thing ever. I just love all the yellow, and I was really hoping to give it a good rating because it has under 1,000 ratings on Goodreads, and the average rating is like a 3-star, and I'm just gonna have to agree with that. We follow Frederique. She opens this bed and breakfast in France because her husband passed away, and in the basement of this place, she had found some diaries that dated back thousands of years to this girl named Alex. And it turns out it was actually very important history for the French, so they ended up taking it to a museum, and now everybody wants to stay at this bed and breakfast. But she's a little bit of a recluse, so she can turn away anybody she wants and charge any price she wants because everybody wants to come. So that's kind of what she does. She only hosts like 1 or 2 families every so many months, and then she'll travel like the rest of the year. So in the beginning of the book, we open with her checking the mail, and she gets a letter from this American man who is pretty much begging her to let him stay there for like 6 months so that he can write a novel about Alex's life. And she's like, hell no. And she tosses it in the trash. And then she gets a phone call the next day, and it's that guy, and she feels too bad to tell him no over the phone, but she tells him 1 month max. You can stay here 1 month max. He comes, 1 month turns into 2, turns into 3, turns into 4, and so on. We kind of follow the story over the course of a year, and this is kind of where I get lost. At first, you open and it feels so cozy, it feels so great, and it's kind of her cooking, about her cooking, and then like the day in the life of the chateau. But as it goes on, it's literally like the morning, she makes breakfast, makes dinner, the day starts over. The morning, she makes breakfast, she makes dinner, the day starts over. We really didn't even meet or talk to the male love interest until probably the halfway mark. And after we're kind of introduced to him, he does some terrible things. Not necessarily terrible, but like things that would ward you off from wanting to be with him. And there were no really redeeming qualities for him to me. Even in the end of the book, he was spending more time writing than he was with her. There was this random plot of her hostess, a mysterious thing revolving her hostess that was solved in like 2.5 pages. So overall, it was just kind of jumbled up. The love wasn't really grasping or anything like that. And so I wouldn't recommend this one either. I feel sad about that. It's gorgeous. I'm probably gonna stick it in a free little library the next time I travel because we don't have any around here. But yeah, I think 2.5, same as Fairy Tale, unfortunately. But I mean, honestly, it's gorgeous. I probably won't be rating it on the platforms just because, like I said, it has under 1,000 ratings, and I really don't want to make that rating, the average rating, drop. That's just, that I would feel bad. So I'm just gonna leave it be. But yeah, I'm just glad I gave it a shot, and that concludes our video. We read 3 books. Thank you for sticking around. If you watched the full video, feel free to like, subscribe, drop in the comments if you like any of these books, or if you have any video suggestions or questions or comments. I love to interact with people, so I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and catch you in the next one.